Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, November 18th. That's right, November 18th, 2021. Messing around again with the audio today, guys. Trying yet another different setup. I mean, the equipment's all the same, just the settings are just going to be all different. Let me know if it's sounding okay or not. Today, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast. Hopefully, they're having a good run out there today. The temperature in Chicago got cold. I ran early in the morning before I got the kids ready for school. So I was out there about a little bit after 5 o'clock, maybe 5:15, and it was 35 degrees. Felt much cooler than that. Yesterday when I went for a run, it was 60 degrees during the middle of the day. So quite a temperature swing, but it was just an easy day, getting in some good easy miles, enjoying a beautiful sunrise. So hopefully, even if it's cold where you are, it's at least beautiful out. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you're sitting back at a time of your day where you can relax and decompress and have a nice recovery beverage. I've got my afternoon coffee, but I also, because it's Thursday and it's happy hour, I've got a different recovery beverage as well. I'm doubling up on recovery beverages today. We're going to try Vega. We've tried Vega last week. We did some of their like blender-free smoothie things. This one is for brain health. It's got omega-3s, 15 grams of protein, and some vitamin C. So I feel like that's pretty good for this time of year. Get a little extra vitamin C in there. And we'll try that. All right. Sound good? I got some water. We'll mix it up. It's supposed to be the blender-free smoothie formula, so I should be able to just shake it and we'll see how it goes. All right. First, let's talk to Ennis. He says, hi, Kaboozing, everybody. Emma update. She's back home in her house, and mother-to-be and unborn baby are safe. Thank goodness for that. That's always such a terrifying thing to happen at this stage. So glad to hear that she's home safely. Awesome. Stevie76 says, you know what? Don't complain about 35 degrees Fahrenheit because that's 274 kelvins. Pretty much 275 kelvins if you think about it, if you round up. Ray Solar's the Happy Jogger says, does a Bud Light count as a recovery beverage? Absolutely, it does. I count a recovery beverage as anything that someone might want to drink after a race or a long run, and that certainly counts for me. Delicious. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Nothing bad about the audio so far, so I'll take that as a good. So far, so good. Let me know if that changes. All right. Slow Roll wants to know, anyone know if Des Linden is back at ASU? I swear I saw her blaze past me like I was standing still during my morning run here in Tempe, Arizona. It's possible. I would check her Strava. She usually posts when she's running. Well, she doesn't post every day, but she posts if she's got a big monster run that she's doing. So it could be she's been known to hang out there in some of the colder temperatures, but I don't know. I haven't really been keeping too many tabs on her. And someone started out today. We started out, Brian Nee says, no cutoff time for Boston 2022. Congrats to everyone who applied. I saw that today and I was like, that's great news, because I feel like that's how it should be. Like if you hit the cutoff, you're in. I feel like Boston should, I know they want to maximize the number of people that get to go, but I feel like they should make the BQ time more aggressive. I can't believe I actually said that. And take everyone that goes, and if there's not enough people to fill the slots, then take anyone that may have a close time. But this year there was 0 minutes and 0 seconds buffer required to make it to Boston, and now I'm like, oh man, I wish I had ran Chicago a little bit more conservatively, because I ran a 3:14 on a day where I didn't have a great day. But I feel like if I'd gone out thinking 3:10 is my BQ time for my age group, so if I would have gone out at 3:10, I don't know. I don't know if I would have got 3:10 on the day. Not on that day. Not with the level of training I had going into that with that day. I'm not sure. But since they've required, I don't think they always required cutoff times, but since they have, has there ever been a year where it's been you hit the cutoff, you're in? Oh, man. Ron Tommy said he had a minus 26-minute BQ. Still very happy for everyone who applied for Boston. Kabuzi meetup in April in Boston Common. I think I'm gonna go, but like I'm having a real hard time with like how do I don't know what the way is to film an event like that, because it's so point to point. I'm not sure how that's possible. as one person. You know what I mean? So well, I mean, I think maybe I'll just go and enjoy, and maybe just really enjoy it as a spectator. Pick a spot and stay there. You know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can get media credentials to be like not on the courts, but like, you know, I was looking around when I was shooting New York, and there were photographers everywhere with media credentials, just kind of like walking up and down the street, getting like all sorts of regular people and stuff. So I wonder if that's, I don't know, Boston may be a very different scenario than New York though. So I don't know. But Slow Roll says, congrats to those BQers and congratulations indeed. I'm so envious of you guys. I think you guys are gonna have a great time. Martha says, just under the 24,000 people registered, maybe because of the mere 5-month window with few qualifying marathons. Vaccine required may have turned away a handful, but not many. 93% last month were vaxxed. Yeah, I don't think that the vaccination requirement was it. I was thinking the opposite, Martha. I was thinking that even though it's only a 5-month window, like that's 5 months. That was a busy 5 months for marathons. And I felt like, you know, all these people who hadn't been racing, maybe been taking it a little bit easier on their bodies, and had a lot of pent up race energy. I felt like people were going to demolish their BQ times, you know? So like, yeah, I mean, without like the pressure of cramming, I felt like, you know, like people would actually do really long builds and work on those aerobic bases and then just demolish. I thought it was going to be like an unprecedented year, like 7 minutes, 10 minutes is going to be required. That's really what I thought. So, man, it's awesome. I think it's great. I think it's also really good for the event. It's good for the sport to have that happen. All right, let's scroll down to the bottom. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, Casey Petty says, yo, hey, Co, where can we get details for the Austin meetup? Driving down from Houston to meet you and the Believe in the Run team, wouldn't miss it. The Austin meetup, I'll post about it again probably next week because I'm doing the Ekiden reel. I don't like to kind of promote 2 events at the same time, although I'm going to have to do that too a little bit for Austin and for CIM. But so next week I'll post more details about it. It was on Believe in the Run's information. There's a run on Thursday morning. I believe the time is 8 o'clock. I think the meetup location is, I don't know where the meetup location, but they've posted about it on their Instagram and I'll be posting about it soon. That's going to be in the morning. And then I'll be attending the Believe in the Run Puma podcast. I'm not a guest because they're talking to actual like running professionals, like professional coaches, running product line managers, Puma people. But I'll definitely be attending. It's at a barbecue place. So like, you know, I mean, it's Austin, so I know there's lots of vegan options and vegetarian options in Austin, but it's like you're going to be surrounded by meat. But I'll be there, so those will be 2 places to come and hang out, Casey. So hopefully I'll get to see you there. All right. Jason Dahl says, fingers crossed for the Boston 2023 Boston 23 BQ plus 1 hour. Yeah, can you imagine if this year we're like, oh, I mean, what would they do if they don't? I mean, 24,000, that's not the full number, is it? For how many they're going to have next year? So like, does that mean they'll release more charity bibs? What, you know, I mean, I feel like if they don't fill the field, that's going to be disappointing. Martha says, Remy can help me find the spots to film from, but so can my friend who took Lev to 3 favorite spots. You can probably also get media credentials. Yeah, I don't know. It always seems weird when people are like, when I think about me getting media credentials, because I'm like, I'm just some dude that's like a super nerd about shoes. It'd be like, why did they give this super fan media credentials? You know what I mean? It's like, who let this guy back here? But, you know, I think I feel like I've got the chops for it. So it would be nice to have like a little placard on a lanyard, so that way I don't look like a complete lunatic when I'm out there. But also like getting better access to I know I wouldn't get primo access to the finish line, but like getting a little bit of access to the finish line, I think would be super, super cool. Maybe not for the finishers, because I probably want to get the from behind shot, but for like for some of the other elites coming through, I think that'd be really cool to see. All right, Jeff Donaldson says, sign up for my first half, Ottawa 2022. Nice. He's loving the stride. It keeps me motivated. Yeah, you know, I do think that it's nice to have like the new tools and toys to keep motivated. That definitely helps for me. And then sometimes they stick. for me. Like when I first got a GPS watch, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to use this for a long time. But now I have a irrational fear of not having it on. Same thing with the Stride. Yeah. CV76 is going to wait until he's 80. Then his BQ time will be 4 hours, 50 minutes. There you go. I think that you can run that before. I think you hit the BQ time before then, though. Let's see. Yeah, Martha says maybe some people don't want to repeat Boston just 6 months after the last one, but I was as surprised as you are, Kofuzi. Yeah, the number seems real low, and the zero buffer is real low. It's like, unheard of low. So I can't imagine that anyone that ran Boston this year is going to be like, no, I've had enough Boston. I don't think I'm going to go back. I feel like everyone, is just dying to go back. So, I mean, I guess I could be wrong on that. I don't know. Trevor says, I think Chicago's bad weather played into the no Boston cutoff. Only 700 people booked 3 hours compared to 2,000 in 2019. Really? What? I mean, I know the field was smaller, but only 700 people broke 3 in Chicago this year? It's crazy. I don't know what I would have thought the number is, but 700 seems really low. And 2,000 in 2019 seems about right. 2019, it felt like everybody broke 3. As someone that very much missed the mark, it felt like everyone I know broke 3 hours. All right. Fantastic says, I didn't think I would get into Boston with a 233 buffer. He's excited, but now petrified to book hotels and flights. Running is an expensive hobby. Yeah, it can. It certainly can be. It certainly can be. But I mean, I guess be thankful that you're not traveling for a big triathlon race. Those are so expensive. Triathlon is an expensive sport. I know you amass the things over time. Most people don't just dive into it like I did, but yeah, that's also an expensive sport. Stevie76 wants in the Austin Octagon, Kofuzi versus Nick Bear. It will have to be some sort of biathlon type of a thing where, I mean, even then I think I would still lose. Where it's like an endurance run and then something where you have to be very calm about something like is it biathlon? That's like cross-country skiing and then rifle shooting. Like I need something like that. I feel like a mountain run plus like archery. But even then I feel like Nick Barr would destroy me in archery. Even though like my people are pretty good at archery. It's like a thing we're good at. I think it's in my blood. So maybe I would have just a natural advantage. I don't think so, though. I really don't think that there's a single athletic competition that I could win against Nick Barr. Bear. I always say it wrong. He's quite a specimen. John James says, my wife and I are going to switch to a plant-based diet. Awesome. Any tips for us to get started? I'm between races right now. For me, I think there's kind of like 2 approaches, and I don't think they're mutually exclusive. So one is to substitute out. So try to make it feel like you're not missing stuff. And I think now's a really great time for that. I really like Impossible Burgers, Beyond Burgers. Like there's Beyond brats, stuff like that. Then there's like Impossible meat comes in like 1 pound like ground meat packages, so you could put it into a chili or into like a meat sauce, like as tacos. So I think like the substitution route is really helpful. The other way that I also like to go is pick foods that are like culturally, historically already vegetarian. So like a lot of Indian foods, a lot of Asian foods, a lot of Italian foods are already without meat in them. And so like, don't try to like, I think what a lot of people end up doing is like, well, I normally have chicken and rice and vegetables. So I'm not eating meat anymore. So I guess I'm having rice and vegetables. Don't just like go without. Find like other dishes that people are making that already are delicious and just happen to not have meat. So those would be my 2 approaches. All right. Dad Runner AI says, I broke my 10 mile and 15K PRs last night in my velocities. Good job. That's quite a day. It's quite a day. Double PR day. Nice. Aaron Davis, what's going on, Aaron? Says, looking forward to becoming a 3-time Kofuzi Run Club attendee in Austin. Nice. Awesome. I was hoping I'd see you there again. That's going to be so cool. It's going to be so cool. In case you guys don't know, Aaron Davis is one of the hosts of Tempo Talks, the podcast. So make sure you guys go check that one out. That one is regularly in my playlist when I'm listening to podcasts on the run. All right. Martha says for Boston, 30,000 is the planned field size. Okay. So if 30,000, then I feel like then they took everyone that they needed to take then, right? Because then if you got 30,000 field size, that means 6,000 for like the sponsor spots and the charity bibs. Yeah. So that makes sense. They filled the field. Good. I'd be very concerned if they were like leaving bibs on like claimable. That would really annoy me. All right. Let's see. Let's keep scrolling. Frank says, as far as the technology goes, the tech is great until it screws up, and then you sort of wish you never started wearing the watch, heart rate monitor, etc. Yeah, that can be super frustrating. It can ruin a run, right? I was nervous because yesterday when I did the 5K time trial, I don't know if it was I was doing something with the watch. I was because I started doing a warm up, and then I paused my watch as I was doing my mobility drills. I don't know if I just had pressed my watch against my body too long, or if maybe I'd done something, but I accidentally turned off the watch. I don't even know how to intentionally turn. I have to like think about it on this watch, how to intentionally turn off the watch. But this watch turned off in the middle of my warm up, and I was like, uh-oh. Well, at least I got my phone. I'm tracking on the phone, but I was like, but I also want it on the watch. And I was really nervous about it, but it ended up being fine. But yeah, the things we own end up owning us, right? As they said in Fight Club. Liam Mahoney says, also doing my first race in Ottawa, starting with a 10K. Been planning on a half in fall of 2022. Looking forward to getting new shoes. For me, that's my favorite part. I mean, I enjoy running and training and all that. But as far as kind of like the side things that I enjoy, the shoes. I just love the shoes. It always still comes back to the shoes for me. I have a really good time with it. Mika Kataya is doing a 90 minutes easy today. Roads were like ice skating rink, so I ran mostly dirt tracks. Ooh, getting cold. Yeah. Glad you didn't slip and glad you're safe out there. And Martha reminds us that in Boston, the field was only 17,500 runners last month. So there are fewer people who requalified while they were there. And that makes sense. 17,500. I thought it was more than that. But I mean, the number, I guess, sounds right. But it's just like, seems a little bit small. Frank says, so what do you think the buffer for 2023 then be, do you think? Doesn't seem like it fluctuates back and forth regularly. Yeah, I think it's going to go back to being like what it normally has been, around 5 minutes, right? So I think that's what's, but like in 2018, they moved the standards, right? They moved the standards up by 5 because I feel like at that point, it was like you needed like 7 minutes to qualify to get a bib. So they moved the standards up 5 minutes to make it 5 minutes harder. I remember because I changed age groups that year. And so basically I was like, oh, I'm going to have 5 extra minutes. And then I was like, oh, no, I'm not. I'm in the same spot I needed to be before. So whenever it is that I turned 40, yeah, that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Yeah. So who knows? I at least I at least think that it delays them moving the standards for at least another year. Mika says, run archery is a thing? See, there we go. I got to get into that. Mika says, run archery is a pretty popular sport in some countries, also ski archery. So I think I would like that. And I feel like it's more of like a connection between like sport as like like the original like exposition of like your, survival prowess, so being able to like ski and then hunt an animal, I guess. I don't know. I've never hunted before, but I imagine it would have that same kind of feel to it. But I do really like watching the biathlon when they're like cross country skiing with the rifles on their back. I feel like you're watching like field day at a Bond villain movie camp. You know what I mean? So that's just really entertaining. I don't know. I really find it enjoyable to watch. Rafe Shah says, how long did it take for you to recover from patellofemoral pain syndrome? I had what I think was runner's knee, which I think is similar to that. I mean, maybe saying the same thing. I don't remember anymore. But once I kind of figured out like that my stabilizer muscles were really, really weak and I needed to work on mobility and kind of and stimulating recovery to the tendon area with massage, in addition to specific kind of like rehab for it and prehab for it. I want to say it took me a good couple of weeks. I started feeling better relatively soon. It wasn't like overnight, like all my problems were solved, but like slowly I was like, oh, okay, this thing that's kind of been languishing and slowly getting worse is now no longer worse. And I was like, oh, I actually kind of feel better. And then it just got better, 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 real quick, got better, so it takes some time. But I started, it wasn't like, I'm not sure if this is working. I kind of relatively soon was like, I think I'm onto something. Subhan Shah says, how come this always gets so few likes? I think it's because when I watch other live streams, the way the chat shows up, it covers up the like button. So it takes, I think it depends on how you watch it. If you watch it on a phone, it covers up the like button if you want to also watch and participate in the chat. And so you have to exit the chat, then hit the like button, and then jump back into the chat again. And so there's just a couple of extra stops in there. So and I'm okay with it. As long as I'd rather have you guys here in the chat than like worrying about the like button, because that's, we're here live. That's the whole point of it. So Mika says, P.S. My archery coach was from near Seoul, so I'm pretty well trained in Korean style archery, both modern Olympic and traditional. See, I didn't even know there was all these different kinds. But I went down a real weird rabbit hole following the Korean archery teams last Olympics. I just got obsessed with it for a little while. I think this was back when I was also trying to look up trivia questions for like the clay shooting, just some like weird sports that are just still in the Olympics. But I feel like, archery makes so much sense for an Olympic sport. Clay shooting, I'm like, I don't know. You're using guns. That seems kind of weird. But I guess I don't have a problem with the biathlon. So there's just something about the clay shooting that seems odd to be in the Olympics. All right, Chris Penn says, I got the Vaporfly Next Percent 2 for races, but it gives me lower calf pain during runs. Should I keep using them? I think it would depend on like what the lower calf pain is. For me, something that happens when I am like late in the season or early in the season and rapidly increasing intensity. For me, my Achilles tendon starts to get really sore. It usually shows up sometimes it shows up in the right, sometimes it shows up in the left. But that's something that happens. And I don't think that has anything to do with shoes. It has something to do with like the change in the workout intensity. And so it might be, depending on how much other kind of like race specific training you're doing, that might be it. It's just that you're typically doing those workouts in those shoes. And so you're associating the shoe with the tenderness, even though it's not about the shoes, it's about the workout, or it could be about the shoes. So I think that if you got to tease that out first, figure out which one it is. Have you been recently changing something that has like in terms of intensity or mileage or both? If that's the case, then I would say it's probably not the shoe. But if everything's kind of been like just gradually increasing, but nothing that would be a dramatic change, then I think it might be the shoe. And then you got to decide like, is this just something that's a little bit annoying that I can live with in the shoe? Or is this just a sign that the shoe isn't right for me? So I think that's kind of how I would decide that. Stevie 76. How do you improve your archery with better aerodynamics? That's really funny. That's so funny. All right. Let me scroll down. I'm going to scroll down because I know I'm going to skip a couple of comments, but I just want to keep up with you guys. Santosh Katwal says, "Hi, Kofuzi, good to see you, bro. It has been a while. Are you participating in the Chicago Turkey Trot? I don't think I'm going to be. Hold on, let me check the lighting. Got real dark in here. There we go. I don't think so because that's going to be my taper. So I really wish that there were some sort of turkey trot type of like a half. If there were a turkey trot half marathon this weekend, I'd totally be into it because that's 2 weeks out from CIM for me. But next week I'll be a week away from CIM, and so I think that if I do any sort of intensity, nothing's going to be like more than like 3 minutes at a time, So probably not doing any turkey trots, like a 5K. I think there's some 10Ks around here too. I think there's also a half marathon turkey trot in the area, but I don't think I'm going to be doing any of those. I mean, I'm kind of thinking about it though, because normally for Thanksgiving, we're in Iowa, we're at grandma's house. So it's a unique opportunity, hopefully one that I'll never have again, because hopefully from now on, there'll be no reason not to be with the family in Iowa for Thanksgiving. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it. You guys with the archery jokes. Have you tried archery blindfolded? You never know what you're missing. Oh, goodness. Oh, gosh. I love the dad jokes. Love the dad jokes. Jonathan Grassley said, we actually used to go curling regularly where I grew up. It's more technical than it looks. Did you grow up in Minnesota? One of my buddies. By the way, I'm not going to Minneapolis this weekend. Me and my running buddy, we texted our friend. They're having a baby soon, and we were going to go up and do a man baby shower thing. But he was like, no, he's got baby classes, and he's like, he's got to lock it down, get ready for the baby. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. There's like 3 or 4 weeks before the baby comes. You should take advantage. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. But first time dads, they gotta. Everyone nests in their own way, and I'm not gonna, pressure him too much. But anyway, we're not going to Minneapolis or Minnesota this weekend. But my buddy up there. He's on a curling team, and him and all his buddies. He's from the Minneapolis area, and they go curling. I mean, it's a team. It's like a bowl. Like they do it like as regularly as people bowl. As far as I can tell, it's a lot of drinking, but there is a lot of skill involved. I think I would really enjoy that game. Let's see. Ray wants to know if I have an interest in reviewing the Skechers Speed Freak. Probably not. I don't know. If I review anything from Skechers, it would be the Max Road 5 or maybe the Go Run Ride. Are they on the 9? I can't tell. They're so like, I don't know what they're doing over there. They're confused. It confuses me. So like I did really enjoy the Go Run Ride 8. It was one of those shoes that when I had it, I was like, this is a pretty good shoe. I like it. And then I got to 100 miles and I put it away and I was like, I really missed that shoe. I wish I still had it. So I feel like that's a good one. I don't know if there's a 9. And then that Max Road, everyone talks about the Max Road. So I feel like if I'm going to do one, it'll probably be that one. Jameson Murphy says, how do you feel about Apple Fitness? I think it's great. It's just, there's that fly. The fly is indestructible. By the way, so like yesterday, I told you guys we were getting, so I'll answer the Apple Fitness question. I'll answer the Apple Fitness question first. Let me tell you about this fly that's in our house, which has been here for weeks now. It's incredible. It's the oldest fly ever. But anyway, Apple Fitness, I think it's great. It's just not for me. I don't do like fitness classes. I don't do anything like that. I've tried doing, when I trained with the Nike team, we did like the cross training thing with like the Nike training club, NTC app, not the NRC app, but the Nike training club app. And I enjoyed that. It like lets you see workouts, and some of the core workouts were really rigorous, and I thought that they worked well. But like I didn't find them like, I never like got hooked on them. Does that make sense? Like they were like, okay, this is fine in terms of like assigned work from my coach. But I was like, I didn't find myself enjoying it. And I think that the Apple Fitness would kind of be the same. I'm not a group. I don't really even like that many. I don't like group runs. I don't do group runs regularly. I love meeting Kofuzi Run Club, and I love going to other people's run, like meetups and stuff. But like I don't do any runs regularly with other people. I'm a loner, I guess. And I know Apple Fitness, you do it by yourself at home, but like that whole kind of like group thing, and it's not. I've tried doing like yoga regularly. It doesn't really take for me. I've tried doing core work and other exercises in that kind of format. Doesn't really work for me. Nothing ever sticks. I don't know. Maybe I should try it. Because maybe it would stick. All right. Tasmania Running says, can you explain turkey trot to an Australian? A turkey trot is usually a 5K. It's usually like a fun run, like a run walk 5K that people do right around Thanksgiving. Turkey is a food in the United States that's eaten for Thanksgiving. So turkey, and then the alliteration makes it trot. So it's usually like a 5K. In Iowa, the local high school puts on a turkey trot. They call it a 5K, but I'm pretty sure it's shy of 2 miles. And everyone brings canned goods, and so like the student council or like the students group operates it. Although there's not much to operate other than call a cop to make sure he helps direct traffic on the one road that we cross. And then so it's a little bit of a fundraiser for the students, because then they donate the food to a local food pantry. But then everyone kind of like walks, and then the track coach will kind of like time everybody. He just starts a stopwatch when everyone starts, and then he yells out their times when they come back to the school parking lot. I do that one, and then others are, like a regular 5K, like a park run type of distance, type of course where you go around, and you'll get a medal or a shirt for it afterwards. And then a lot of people, feel like, all right, well, we did our running. Now let's go back to the house where grandma's cooking and it'll smell like food. And then we can eat a bunch of turkey and then take a nap, So that's kind of like the whole turkey trot thing. And a lot of times it's kind of like a homecoming too, because people will come home for Thanksgiving. And so I think that in certain parts of the country, turkey trots get kind of like unintentionally really competitive or have a stacked field, depending on if like pros live in the area or are from the area. So, sometimes they have really deep fields. Midnight Runner says, did you hear about the cheese factory in France that blew up? There was debris everywhere. We've been working on a riddle or like a dad joke with the baby, and so the joke goes, and she's been having a hard time. She messes it up every time, and it's so adorable, but she loves it, so she's working on it. And so she goes, "What's the pirate's favorite letter?" And so it's a two-tiered joke. There's options depending on what the answer is. So normally you say, let's see what you guys think. What's a pirate's favorite letter? Anybody in the chat? I'll let you guess what's a pirate's favorite letter while I tell about this fly. So this fly has been in our house for like 3 weeks, right? And I've been trying to get it. We don't have a fly swatter, so I've been trying to like literally swat it like with my hand and stuff, but it's too fast. Yesterday we had pizza for dinner because I brought some pizza for the teachers. It was kind of like a potluck. Parents bring stuff for the teachers to eat during school conference day. We brought pizzas, and I bought a couple of extra pizzas for home, and we ate off paper plates. And so I was cleaning up in the kitchen, and I saw the fly, and I had an extra paper plate in my hand, and I whacked it, and I hit it, and I could feel myself hitting the fly. And I was like, surely I've got it. So I'm trying to look around. Where did this fly go? Don't find it. This morning, I see it again. And so I get that same paper plate out. And because of course I didn't throw it away. But then I get it and I hit the fly again. And I'm like, surely this time I've got it. I didn't find the body of the fly. And now it's right over there. I could see it. It's taunting me. It still exists. I don't know what this fly is. Amazing. All right. So here we go. I think Zach Bags got the whole thing right. But so here's how it goes. Most people respond the way you guys. What's a pirate's favorite letter? Eric Paramount says R. Frank also says R. Richard Whalen R. But if someone says R, yeah, Subhan Shah says no, it's the C, right? And so where did it go? Zach Bag says the best. He says you either say R or you can trip them up, and if they say R, he says I. You think it'd be R, but 'tis the C, right? So we do that, and the baby loves this joke, but sometimes she'll get it right and she'll do the joke right, and sometimes I'll say it like, so she'll say, "Daddy, what's a pirate's favorite letter? And I'll say R. And she goes, you're right. It's R. Get it? A pirate. So she keeps messing it up. So we've been having fun with that joke. But I do love, I love it when like a kid that's like her age or a little bit older tries to trip me up with that riddle or that joke. And I can come back. And when they haven't heard the C part, oh, it's so good. They're like, what? What? You counter joked my joke? That's dad joke to second level. Second degree dad joke. I love it. Ines wants to know, is it possible there's more than one fly? I've thought about that for a while. But then someone mentioned when we talked about the fly before, that a house fly's lifespan is 28 days. I think it's just the one. It's just the one. It's invincible. Yeah. Richard Wilson says, place your hands a couple inches above the fly and clap. It will fly up into your closing hand. Oh, that's interesting. Zach Bass says he knows about the R versus the C because his friend did it to him and he got so mad. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, CV76 says this fly is the Zoom Fly 1. Yeah, he's a Zoom Fly. He's a Zoom Fly SP special edition. For sure. I don't know how this fly is still. All right, you know what we didn't do? We didn't even get well, I just got so wrapped into it. We didn't even get to the protein shake for today. I've been saving this one. All right. So I've got this at Whole Foods. They got a whole bunch of them. You can try all these samples. All right. This one, the flavor is raspberry blackberry. I haven't had like a fruity protein shake in a really long time. I certainly don't think I've ever had one from a powder. So that's the main reason this caught my eye. It's dark out today. Martha says, if the fly ends up on your protein shake, extra protein. I guess so. Midlife Runner wants to know, on a 10 scale, how confident you're about breaking theory for CIM? I'd say 60-40, 70-30. That's a quote, right? In Armageddon. It's like, I don't know, Lev. Just tell me we're going to make it. Okay, I say 60-40, 70-30. Armageddon is one of my favorite movies, by the way. It's terrible. It's awesome. It's the first DVD I ever bought. Like, remember when DVDs first came out? The first DVD that I bought was Armageddon. And then someone stole it from me. It's a long story. It was from when I was living with Jamal. Jamal, who was the race director from that trail race. We used to live together in St. Louis, right across the street from, not right across the street, but we used to live by Fitz's, behind that Fitz's parking lot, but really close to Blueberry Hill and Vintage Vinyl. Lived right in that area. I really liked living there. There used to be this guy in that neighborhood that had the Honda, is it the Insight? Do you remember that Honda car? It looked like it had 3 wheels. It was like the first electric car that they ever made. It was that. There was one of those. Someone just parked it on the street. I don't know how they charged it ever. Was it a hybrid or was it a fully electric? I don't remember. Anyway. But yeah, so in terms of how confident, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, dude, I did that killer workout, not rested, and then I ran a 5K PR 4 days later. So I feel like the legs are strong. Other times I'm like, do you remember how hard those 4-mile marathon pace blocks were? Those were hard. How are you going to do that for 26? I did 22, and afterwards I felt pretty spent. And 4 of those miles were at like 8-minute per mile pace. So it's like, I don't know, how am I going to do 6:45, 6:50s for 26? I just don't know. But I'm like, well, I got the benefit of 300 feet of net downhill. That should help me out a little bit. And it's got some rollers, which I think will also be good for me too. Like, not that I'm going to enjoy the uphills, but I think ultimately it'll be good for me. So I don't know. I feel confident. I'd say 60-40, actually 60-40, 70-30. I think it's going to come down a lot to weather and how cautious and patient I can be in the beginning. All right. Let's try this. Cheers, guys. Smells like we get these things called Johnny Pops They're kind of like, they're almost like frozen yogurt. They're peanut safe. There's a raspberry one. It smells like that. I don't care for this flavor. It's weird. I feel like I'm drinking medicine right now. I feel like if I had like, I've never had it before, but like certain medical procedures, you're supposed to drink a whole bunch of something first, and then you could have the procedure. It feels like one of those. I don't like that. This flavor is gross. It's chalky. It's somewhat thick. It's not thick enough to be a smoothie. Maybe I did the water ratio wrong, but it's not thick enough to be a smoothie, and it's too thick to be like juicy. It's weird. Definitely just tastes like medicine. Yuck. Was that? I know it wasn't called the Del Sol. The Del Sol was a small little car that Honda made that was like what was it, that car called? The Fiero? It was like that size. The Del Sol, yeah, it was a little two-seater. They had a little car that looked like it was an electric vehicle designed in the 90s, which it was. Or it looked like it, and it came out. That was the one before like the Prius. I remember watching a documentary about it, and like at some point they all like disappeared from the market, as the documentary insinuated, because big oil made a move. Also because of like the dealer networks. Dealers make a lot of money not only from selling you cars, but also from servicing your cars. And if there's an electric motor, there's fewer things to service, like oil changes and carburetors and things like that. Yeah, New Betcher says, yeah, the Insight was the first hybrid. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. This is just, it's not getting any good. Yeah. Stevie says, I had a falling out with my friend over a protein powder. We decided to go our separate ways. This is like a band. You know what I was thinking it'd be funny? Is if there were like someone who was just like, I'm a runner comic, and this person just did like jokes like this at like running expos and stuff. Like, can you imagine that? Like just really bad one-liner jokes, just like this. And like the whole time it'd be like, is this thing on? Hello, anybody? They're like at an expo when everyone's like nervous and just trying to get off their feet, and rummaging for discount split shorts and deals on goos. What was funny is at the Tracksmith party in New York, I didn't get any film of her set, but there was an actual comedian. And she did a set, like I think maybe 5 minutes. I don't think it was 10 minutes, maybe a 5-minute set before the music started for the evening. And she had running jokes, 5 minutes of running jokes. I thought it was amazing. I'm like, how many comics are there? Like, what do you think the interview process was for like that? Like, now accepting, resumes for comics with 5 minutes of running material for a magazine relaunch party? That, I don't know. That was weird, but she was pretty funny. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, and it says Johnny Pops is a very different thing in the UK. All right. I don't want to know what that means. But there's a product called Johnny Pops here in the US. They're tasty ice cream treats. It's like frozen. I think it's frozen yogurt. I'm not sure. Todd Webb wants to know how long I lived in St. Louis for. Well, I went to school there, so I was there from like late '97 or fall semester of '97 till 2004. So 7 years, 4 of them in college, and 3 years, a couple years. 1 year after the first year after college, I lived in the Loop, which is that area by Blueberry Hill. It's also the area. There's 2 record stores on that street, or there were. I don't know if there still are. The other one, the one further down the street, is where I met Nelly at his CD release party. It was not a party. It was you could wait in line and like have them sign autographed copies of the CD that you bought. And And then after that, I moved. Well, was it before then? Oh, it was before then. I lived for a little while with my buddy Dave and Dan in the Central West End. And then I lived in the Loop. And then after that, I moved in with Dan. Dan designed a loft. He's an architect. And I was his roommate for a while. And then I kind of ended up crashing at my wife's place. We were dating at the time. She had a corporate apartment on a long-term project in St. Louis. She was in Chicago, but coming down to St. Louis all the time. So that's kind of my living history. So I've lived mostly like near Wash U, Clayton, the Loop, a little bit Central West End, and then I ended up in like I think that's Olivet. Was Olivet, Creve Coeur? I don't know, somewhere around there. I forget. I think the address was Creve Coeur. I am Half Pager says, hey, a running question. Is there a moment you felt satisfied with your time or speed? I mean, as a new runner, I have goals I wish to get. That seems far for now. Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel satisfied with my speed lots of times. I felt satisfied with my speed pretty much all of last year and a half when people really weren't racing. I was just out there running. That was a lot of fun. I don't enjoy chasing this 3-hour mark. I enjoy training for it, but like it weighs heavy mentally, and so I don't really like that part of it. And so I could see why a lot of people really like trail races, because it's like a nice way to kind of just run away from that, literally and metaphorically. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with my running right now. I feel great about it. So whatever the number ends up being in December, that's what the number is going to be, you know. I think that the big kind of turning point, though, when I started to really feel like, I had like decent times, was the first time I ran a BQ qualifying time, because then I was like, now I'm a real runner. I know that's not true. That's not what makes or doesn't make you a real runner. But I felt like, I'd kind of like that established bona fides for me, So that was like a benchmark for me. Yeah. New Betcher says, I've had to drink that contrast stuff. It doesn't matter which flavor, it's always gross. See, that's what I'm talking about. The medicine. Jeff Elliott says, I think Vega is great if you want low sugar, but he doesn't mind sugar and don't like the taste of some of the artificial sweeteners. Yeah, see, I like sugar in my recovery drinks. That's the thing. So I like it to be a lot of 15 to 20 grams protein, 8 to 10 grams sugar, like so 2 to 1 almost. That's like, I feel like that's a good number for a recovery drink, which I think is kind of like how it, or whatever, like chocolate milk, the stats for chocolate milk. Maybe I've got the numbers reversed. I don't think I do, but I think chocolate milk is like usually has good numbers. Yeah, I'm really just trying to drink this real fast like medicine. Let's see. Midlife Runner says, in terms of predicting times, I fluctuate also. Some days I think I'm at a 2:53, and other days I think, well, Tanda had me at a 3:16. But Jen Taglios has me at something completely out of reach. What if it is all made up? Yeah, I think it's just different ways of kind of like looking at the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to be at. I think that I'm just going to go out with that 3-hour pace group and see how long I can hang. I'm going to try not to work. I'm not going to really, I'll have my heart rate monitor on. I'll have my foot pod on. I'll have my watch, but, I'm just going to try to cling to that pace group for as long as possible, and we'll see where we end up. So my race strategy is no race strategy, just follows, guys. But then I'm like, I don't know. I'm a really good downhill runner, or I like to think that I am. So maybe I should not bank time, but maybe I should not worry about the pack and just cruise. But then I'm like, on the other hand, I really had a fun time on the downhills on that Crater Trail 50K that I did. And I ended up totally bonking on that race. So I definitely overdid it. So I think maybe I should really just stay with the pace group. New Betcher says the documentary I'm talking about is the GM EV1. Interesting story on that one. I want to go revisit that. I want to go see that. I want to see that one again. I remember. I have to. Yeah, I gotta check that out. All right, let's do a couple more, and then I gotta get going for today. Looks like Luis is here. Good to see you. He says just passing by to say hi to everyone. What's going on? CR says, I felt like a real runner when I was able to run 5K, 10K nonstop. Now trying for my own time goals. That's awesome. I mean, I think that like the thing is like, I think running by its nature is the goals will always move. But I think that the thing to keep in mind is, but the goals might not always be time based. And I think that the people that tend to like running the longest, I don't think there's anything wrong with having time-based goals. I have many time-based goals. But I think that people that enjoy running the longest, like on a long-term scale, are the people whose running goals are not time-based. So I think there's just something to be said for that, I think. Martha says, I felt like an imposter just calling myself a runner, let alone athlete, until a couple of years ago. And after 10 years of running, see, I think that's something that we all talk about it all the time. Like, if you run, you're a runner. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think everyone to themselves says out loud, yeah, I agree with you. That's right. If you run, you're a runner. And then inside, I feel like everyone says, for everyone else, I'm probably not a runner yet, but everyone else is. And I think that's like we're just like scratching the surface of kind of like why all of us have a hard time kind of like self-identifying as a runner, So yeah. But we're all here. We don't have to call it. So if that makes you feel uncomfortable, I don't feel like you have to be like, I'm a runner. If you don't want to, that's fine. It's cool. But if you're running every day and like to hang out with other people that run every day or nearly every day, as long as you're aware of that and, you're having a good time and enjoying it, yeah, whatever you want to call it, it's whatever you want to call it. But we're glad you're here, that kind of thing. But I can relate to what you're saying, Martha, for sure. And it says, a man walks into a bar with a fish under his arm, asked the barman if they sold any fish cakes. The barman said no, and the man pounded. That's a shame, he said, pointing to the fish. It's his birthday. That's funny. I had a feeling it was going somewhere like that. Joseph D says, who killed the electric vehicle is the title of that documentary. Okay. That's the one I want to go over. I want to, but you know me. I never watch stuff. I took my daughter to the dentist again today. And at this new pediatric dentist, which we were really liking this new one that we're going to, they have TVs mounted to the ceiling. And they put Netflix on for the kids. So she sits down in the chair, and I'm in the room. And the I think I don't know if she's a dental assistant or what the technical term is. I don't think she was a hygienist. She's like, what did you like to watch? And my daughter goes, I forget the name of the show, but the premise is it's a cooking show, which Netflix, I feel like they just must have commissioned there was like in the brainstorming room, there was like, all right, guys, let's make new cooking shows, 3 contestants, 3 judges, that kind of thing. No bad ideas. Let's go. And I feel like they just took all of them, because this cooking show on Netflix, it has to do with leftovers. The entire show is challenges around making new dishes out of leftovers. And I got to tell you, as someone that loves casseroles and I love eating leftovers generally, I was like, this show's amazing. So I'm sitting here like this, trying to look up at the screen, trying to watch it with her. But she had a new crown put on one of her teeth, and they had the nitrous on her, and it was a nice experience for the kids. It's a long way from what I remember pediatric dentistry being when I was a kid. I got to tell you that. All right. Andrew Strauss says, can we find you on Strava? Yes, I'm as Michael Coe on Strava. So you can definitely find me there. Midlife Runner says, when the profile became a running pic, I became official. Oh, there you go. That's one way to do it. All right. And it says, I didn't feel a runner until I started the 1,000 mile run challenge, the run 1,000 mile challenge. Can't get away with it after running every day. Yeah, there you go. That's right. I think so. I feel like if you, well, I mean, like, I think that for me, something that helped was that for after like that first winter when I ran all winter through, then I was like, oh yeah, I'm for real now. But I'm like, you can totally still be a runner and hit the treadmill all winter long too. So there's just, I think everyone just needs to have their like, figure out their way of making their bones, I guess. Steve says like, we'll end on this one today. What award did the dentist win? A little plaque. These are terrible. Awesome jokes today. You guys make me laugh so much. So glad to see you guys today. I will finish this, although it's settling now to the bottom, which is making it even less appetizing. But that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow's video is going to be about the Clifton 8 after 100 miles. And then we'll do another live stream for Friday. So hopefully I'll see you then. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Till then, everybody, be safe out there. Thanks.